Hey guys, welcome to the Next Level Mamas podcast. I'm here to encourage and empower you to create a life that you love as you head toward your own next level. Now, let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the Next Level Mamas podcast. It's episode 9, and this is the final episode of the year. Now, I was thinking I would do a little recap of my year, and I want you to do the same. Now, one of the most amazing things I did last year was I hiked the Grand Canyon rim to rim in one day. I did this with my two very best friends, and it was just this past June of 2022. Now, I wanted to talk a little about this first because we've been focused on goals on this podcast, and when you work on really tough goals, sometimes you just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other and move forward. Forward momentum, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. This is like going through the canyon, but then at spots, you just have to glance up. Take a look around at the beautiful, majestic creation of God. It's truly amazing and breathtaking. If you've ever seen pictures, you're going to want to go there yourself when you hear me talk about it all the time. You literally look up and look back at the trail that you just blazed and see that you have come so far that it doesn't even seem possible to have done it. It seems totally impossible when you look back. But I just walked that. Oh my goodness. That's what we're doing today. And I want you to do it along with me. Look back at your year. Be amazed at the progress that you have made in life right before we will be returning to our forward momentum. We're going to celebrate this week what we have accomplished. Now, I'll begin with mine. Many of you all know that I turned 50 in July. Now, going toward my birthday, I began in January with a list of 50 challenges and goals to hit by my birthday. I know it seems extreme, but believe me, it was a super fun challenge. Did I get them all? No, but I actually got almost there. Some of them were simple. Some of them were not simple. They're all time consuming. One of them was to do one puzzle every month. It was a 1,000-piece puzzle. So I did a different puzzle every month between January and my birthday. That was a total of 7. Now, that actually stretched me in a way different than most people because it's challenging for me to stand still and work on something like that. The same with my goal of completing a diamond painting, which is also really fun. If you've never done a diamond painting, you should go get inspired by a Next Level Mom from Australia named Zara, who has a YouTube channel, West Aussie Diamond Art. Go there. She does all things diamond paintings, but to the extreme. It's very inspiring. And she actually has a goal to get 1,000 subscribers. So it would help her out to like a video, subscribe to her channel, and check out some of what she's working on. Now, other random goals that I had were to run 500 miles between January and my birthday on July 11th. I tried to use a theme to go along with my 50th birthday. Things of the numbers 5, 50, 500, 1,000, just to make it just a little bit more fun. That helps me. Plus, it makes it more challenging. It makes me challenge myself more than I would have in the first place. Now, I barely made it to my 500 miles, but I did it. Also, on the fitness realm were 50 spin classes. Check. 500 push-ups. Check. That one almost killed me too. I did 500 workouts on my iFit app, all kinds of random workouts. I did my running ones and my cycling ones and included that in the 500 just so I'm not totally over the top crazy. It was all inclusive. I ran 5 10Ks and 10 5Ks on my own virtually. I didn't run them with a group, but those numbers equal 50, so that was kind of fun. I had a goal to do 5 Pilates classes, which that was a good goal. It was something brand new for me. It was still fitness, but it was also like totally getting me out of my comfort zone. And I know you're asking, are you still doing Pilates? And actually, I'm not. I do so much other fitness with weightlifting as a priority that I can't physically do both. I did yoga sporadically throughout the year. I had a goal of 5 weeks hot yoga, which I did more than that, but that was part of the preparation for hiking through the desert heat in June. I had a goal of flexibility, which I will touch on more in a minute. But besides the fun fitness, I did 50 random acts of kindness, 50 hours of volunteering with Martha Pearl doing pet therapy. I sent 50 cards in the mail to people. I memorized probably 5 different books of the Bible. I read or listened to 50 books. I did some decluttering and I made a pact to get rid of a minimum of 50 items each month, which I did. I played 50 new piano songs on my keyboard. And one of the last ones I can think of is 50 hours of silence. I know you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of random crazy things. And I would totally agree. But it felt so good to accomplish so much by my birthday. And I learned a lot through the process. I learned and did some new things. I learned even more about myself. I learned more about tracking goal progress and pushing myself even when it seems impossible. I'm telling you that it seemed really impossible up to the very end of my 500 miles goal of running. I actually had to push and run 5 miles each day for the past couple of weeks leading up to my birthday. It was extreme for me. My push-ups, I was pulling off 100 each day for the last week or so. But when you come that far, you can't not finish. You just got to go for the goal. It was a matter of deep determination that I had to dip into, which is so good for you. You come out on the other side a whole brand new person, knowing that you can do way more than you ever thought was possible for yourself. Now, which is why it's so good and why I recommend outlandish things on your goal list. It's supposed to be fun and a little bit of crazy. Now, let's talk about where things didn't pan out. I had planned on writing 50 blogs, like little, I don't know, whatever a blog is, writing 50 blogs and maybe putting it on my website or putting it on social media. I just didn't make it happen. Now, with my original version of 50 Hours of Silence, it turned out different than I thought. I first imagined I would be meditating in the quiet of my home, maybe on a pillow and just sitting in silence. But I honestly couldn't make that happen either. But I changed it up and I changed it to just silence while driving in the car, which if you're a person like me, I'm always like have music or a book or podcast or something going at almost all waking hours of the day, especially when driving. So I decided to make that the very first drive of every single day. I had nothing but quiet prayer time, just silence. Now, that is a habit that I am keeping going because it is so good. I highly recommend it for you too. Now, I also had thought on my list, I had put 50 date nights. Now, that sounds really pretty, like, hey, look at me, I'm dating my husband. But in reality, sometimes we go out on Friday nights and sometimes we stay in. We are together every Friday night, but calling it a glamorous date night is total fake news. I feel like if it's something that we already do, then it just doesn't count because it's not a challenge. Now, my favorite, absolutely lost goal was my goal for flexibility. If you know me, you know I've really wanted this goal, like in the form of doing the splits or something fantastic. But it turns out to be much more of a fun fantasy that I just wasn't putting in the effort to make it happen. I feel like I am more flexible, but the splits not so much. Maybe 2023 is the year. Who knows? I'm going to keep going for it. Now, one goal in the realm of doing something new was to take a glass blowing class with my husband. I actually had a gift certificate to do glass blowing at a particular place. Now, due to my serious procrastination, we were not able to get into a class by my birthday. I waited until the end of May, probably, and at that time they were booked up, and they actually don't work in the studio during the summer due to extreme heat. Like, who knew? My bad. I should have asked about that one in January and decided on a date back then so I could get it done by July. I still have yet to get into a class because I thought I'll get into one in the fall. And by the time I called, they were all booked up for classes for holidays. I think they make glass ornaments. Who knew? Now they're all booked up till February. But this year, I'm going to make it happen. I have the gift certificate. We are just going to get a random date and just go whenever they tell us we can. Now, another thing on my list was to get a thermography reading done. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It's a health thing. Now, I actually I did a phone consult to find out all about it, and I got the information I needed to register. It was very last minute, right before my vacation, and something inside stopped me. And maybe I'm deep down afraid something will be found. I don't know, but I will do it this year for sure. I already have all the information. All I have to do is call in January and set it up. I did have another pass the goal, but with a total B- on the grading, which would be my reading 50 books. Yes, I listened to and read a total of 50 books, but I did it so fast that I really didn't get out of them what I would really want to get out of them. If that makes any sense to you book readers. The few fiction ones were great. Like Storytime is always fun. I love fiction books. But most of mine are nonfiction because I love to learn. They're on topics that I really want to apply to my life. Those I need to slow down and focus on. I actually listened on double speed while I ran, which is hilarious. But I did it for the goal, and I am taking away something really good from that. I'm changing my reading goals this year to involve more of a study type situation. I might set up semesters like in college for books I'm going to study and really apply. Reading slowly, applying, and sharing the information where I can. I am a lifetime learner. You should be too. I totally geek out on learning things about brain science and absolutely anything mind-body. I love hearing everyone's tips on goals and doing life more intentionally. That is my jam. That's what I love to share with you all. Now, speaking of sharing, I am reading a book right now. I'm trying to think of the name of the book. I'm reading a book, and it references studies in it that you may find fascinating. It's kind of studies about goals like this. One was a study of smokers. These are people that wanted to quit smoking. They had 3 groups in this one study. The first group was given free help in the form of like nicotine patches and that sort of thing from their doctor. 6 months later, only 6% had actually quit smoking. Second group was offered $800, I believe it was by their employer, to quit. And at the 6-month mark, only 17% were actually smoke-free. Now, the last group actually had to give a deposit of $150, and then at the end of the 6 months, if they were smoke-free, they would get that money back plus $650 cash if they were smoke-free. Now, that adds up to the same $800, except that group actually was at 52% success. That's because they had some skin in the game, like they say. Think about this as you create some of your goals. A story from the book also, I think this was the author. I'm going to come up with the name of this book. The story was the author, I believe, and he wanted to exercise in some form or fashion every single day. He made a calendar. He put a $100 bill on it with a lighter next to it. He made a pact that he would either burn some calories through exercise or he would burn the $100 bill. He said he's been at this over 3 years and he's never had to burn the $100 bill. The key takeaway is, in the end, he says, losing hurts more than winning feels good. Keep that in mind. If you're going to lose money, it is more of a motivator than actually winning money. I am going to use this in at least one of my goals this year. Not the lighter with a $100 bill part, but just a money-packed part. It's supposed to be scary and uncomfortable. That's how you know it's a really challenging goal. And that's the goal that will feel the best to accomplish at the end. Take a look at your goals and see if there's somewhere you can incorporate a level of accountability. Now, in my Next Level Mamas Facebook group, we're going to be going to do This year, I want to have more of a small group with some goal check-ins for those that want to be accountable with their goals. And the whole point is not to shame anyone who is behind, but to encourage one another. And if I'm struggling with a goal and I bring it to an accountability group, others will offer up ideas maybe that I hadn't thought of. I also will try my best. If I'm coming back to a group with my goals, I want to come back with a good report. So I'm going to try a little harder just for that. Now, we've all heard it say that you are the average of those you spend the most time with. This is so true. I'm always needing more and more people to bring up my average. It comes from authors and people who don't even know me, as well as people I come face to face with. I desire to go to my next level this year, and I am ready to get started. If you're ready, come along with me. You can go to my Next Level Mamas Facebook page and also ask to join my small group online. And as always, remember to get that PDF download that coincides with this week's podcast. It's at my website, nextlevelmamas.com/podcast. Now, that is a wrap for 2022, and I will talk to you all next year. Okay, I always go back and listen to my podcast, so I have a little update on this one. The book I was talking about is entitled Indistractable, which is hilarious because that is my new word for the new year is indistractable. And so I'm trying to learn exactly how to become indistractable. I've always thought, the word focus would be great. This is the word focus, but next level, completely indistractable. I love that word, but that's the name of the book that I was referencing. Has lots of studies about habits and how you can really learn to control your life, which is great. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. And the other thing I corrected was, I believe I might have said that my goal for the year last year was 500 push-ups, which you're probably thinking, wow, that's not a lot. Why were you having to do 100 a day to catch up at the end? But the number was actually 5,000. Therefore, I was pulling off 750, 900 each month to get to my 5,000 by July 11th. That's just a funny side note. As I was listening to my recording, I was like, I really need to give them the name of that book also. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and I will see you next year. Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of Next Level Mamas, where we are out to win the level we are in and move into our own next level. For more information on coaching with me, please visit nextlevelmamas.com/create your life. See you next week.